can I invite Mr. Yusuf to answer this question? Could you share your experience and the technique you have applied uh, regarding transcending in South Africa?
Sure. So I think before we talk about South Africa, there's a few things that need to be said about transcending. People who are students generally look at transcending and they say, oh, you do the course, you get Reiki 2, and you do it together in a group, and it doesn't look so difficult, it doesn't look so hard. So they think that it's a needed skill, but it may not be as difficult as they think it is. The truth is that sometimes we don't realize the potential energy that Reiki has. And one of the reasons, and Master Steve can correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the reasons that we learn transcending only after Reiki 2 is because at that point you start having sufficient energy to actually transcend. I would like to share an experience before I studied Reiki. And even after I started with Reiki level 1, I was a shaman. And so we used many different techniques that were nowhere near as effective as Reiki and what we've learned from Master Steve. And at that point, I was in a situation where I had to transcend or try to transcend some spirits. And it was such a difficult process. It would sometimes take hours on end to do something that can be done in a few seconds. So when we learn Reiki and when we learn transcending, really, we have to understand that without the proper training and understanding, this can be a very difficult thing to do. But with the proper training, understanding, and experience, it can go much more smooth. I also believe that in order to really be a complete Reiki master, transcending is an essential skill. Yes, you don't have to learn transcending to become a Reiki master. But when you have the ability to transcend, and when you learn the other courses, for example, crystal healing and psychometry and using the pendulum, all of these give you the tools to deal with the majority of situations that come to you when you are a master and you are treating people on a professional level. Okay, so let me continue in the meantime.
Okay.
One of the most famous paintings, or there is a famous painting, maybe some of you have seen it, is when Buddha is drawn giving compassion to demons or to quote unquote bad spirits. So to me, this summarizes the essence of what transcending is we are helping these spirits to be at peace and to go back to soul where they belong. And that's very important. So what's important is that we are providing a service and we are helping to spread love and peace into the spirit world by transcending, because we are helping them to really find peace and go where they belong. So we also sometimes make some confusions, because sometimes in a treatment, you will find that some spirits are ready to leave and some spirits, they just don't want to leave. So what is the difference between those two scenarios? So in this scenario, we can say that sometimes it's very easy to transcend spirits because they're ready to go, they want to leave. And sometimes it requires a little bit more effort. And sometimes a spirit can be attached to someone's emotional energy. For example, a person can be feeling very angry or very depressed. And what happens is that spirit cannot be transcended until the person lets go of that energy. So what is the most important thing is that we want to have spirits that are only of the highest of good, because there's no matter, there's no difficulty, there's no bad energy or negative vibrational energy that is coming onto a person with spirits of the highest of good. Sometimes in my experience, when you are dealing with a client and the client has black magic on them, There are sometimes spirits that are sent to manage or to put that black magic or to add or to keep that and maintain that black magic on a person. And it's very difficult to clear that congestion until you first take that spirit out, because he's like the guardian of that kind of congested energy. When dealing with spaces or land or houses at a more advanced level, this skill becomes absolutely essential, because many times spirits are attracted to certain places and they are not of the highest of good, and they cause all sorts of problems in a house. It can be something like people can get marks, they can feel tired, they can have their emotion energy amplified so many more times. So all of these problems will arise from having energies and mindful energies not of the highest of good, whether it's on a client or a place or in an area, can even be in a religious place, a temple, a church, a mosque, whatever it may be, but there is a negative effect from all of them there. Remember that some people will look at transcending and they'll think it's like it's a war, or we're going to fight, or we're going to kill those spirits, or we're going to do stuff like that. This is an incorrect understanding, because we as Reiki practitioners are promoters of unconditional love and peace. Now, when transcending, being at peace, being in your true integrity is the most important thing, because we cannot hurt or transcend or take out spirits from other people, transcend spirits, when you're not at peace, when you're not in your true integrity. So again, it comes back to that painting that I referred to in the beginning about Buddha, giving compassion to spirits. And this is it. We are establishers of peace and balance and harmony. And this is where transcending just becomes an extension of you. It is another tool. It is a skill that is extremely important, extremely vital to work and to achieve peace in all aspects. So coming back to South Africa, where I live, and even other places in the world, there are a lot of cultures that really don't understand the concept of transcending, and a lot of shaman who also don't use the concept of transcending, and they just don't know about it. So in some of these cultures, and even in South Africa specifically, that there is an idea that if there is a spirit, the spirit must come out. They will put the spirit in the bottle. They will send the spirit to the sea. They will try to bury the spirit under the sand somewhere, or take the spirit and shift it from a person and put it inside of an animal, trap it inside of an animal. These are not methods of peace. These are not methods of harmony. So in these cultures, they are shifting energy from one place to another place. And in Reiki, we are there to decongest the energy. If somebody has an energy congestion, we clear that congestion. It gets removed, it gets cleared, it gets converted. Whatever the situation is, the energy becomes clean. We are not taking negative energy from one place and putting it to the other. The same principle applies with transcending. We are not moving a spirit or mindful energy from one person to another place. We are simply allowing it and helping the spirit to go back to their soul point, and this is the peaceful way. So that spirit will not come back and affect the person or be used in other tasks. So it's important to understand that if you take a spirit out, as many people do in their shaman practices, and you take the spirit and you trap the spirit, when they come back even more angry because you've like tortured them and you've hurt them. So again, with Reiki, this is a powerful tool. This is so important because there is no chance of that happening, because the spirit has now transcended back to soul and is there in the reincarnation cycle to come back when and how they're supposed to in a different version. So I'll end off on this. Um, when we encounter some kinds of mindful energies and they don't want to go, what is the kind of conversation that happens between the Reiki practitioner and the mindful energy? Because it's not just that we snap our fingers and the spirit gets taken out and they go, but sometimes you have to sit and talk to the spirit. So in the case of something that was sent to hurt somebody, or to, like in the case of something like black magic, or something like that, a spirit would come and they would say in a very mean way, get out of here, don't interfere with me, my job is here to hurt this person, and if I don't, I will only leave when this person is dead. How do you respond to something? How do you deal with a case like that? This is when our practice of Reiki and love and compassion comes into play. A conversation may go, carry on. A conversation may go something like this. My brother, remember, this is a spirit that's fighting with you. My brother, my sister, I love you unconditionally, and I forgive you. I have no judgment towards you. Let me help you. Are you happy? I don't think you're happy. Let me help you to transcend, where you can get out of this cycle and you don't have to feel the way you're feeling anymore. So, in essence, transcending is a Zen practice, because as we deal with spirits without judgment, with love, with forgiveness, with brotherhood, with sisterhood, we should aim to deal with the people around us in the same way, where we don't hurt people, we don't offend people, we don't cause difficulties for other people, but we are simply there to spread peace and unconditional love. Steve always says that sometimes it can be very hard to have unconditional love for a person, and this is very true. So by learning transcending, not only do we become better Reiki practitioners, but we also become better humans. We do things that give us good karma, and we become those lights in the darkness that we all wish to be, to spread that light of good energy around everywhere else. So just to finish off, that it is, if you have not learned transcending, I would highly recommend to learn it from my own personal experience. It's an invaluable skill. And remember that what we have spoken today is still only a very small part of transcending. There are many other aspects that you will learn in the course. There are many other details that can be discussed, for days and days and days about transcending. And as you have your own experiences, you will get your own questions. And you're very fortunate to have a person like Master Steve who can assist and help you to get clarity if you're not sure. Sorry again for going a little bit over my time, but thank you guys so much.